Serving you guys a very light beat today. No lip because I couldn't be asked. But welcome back to the Pretty Bookish channel where we talk all things books all the time. It is officially 2021. So excited for a new year, although I'm not really sure how different it's going to be from 2020 because we're still in lockdown. South Africa, we are in jail. Cyril shouted at us a few weeks ago because we were moving mad. So we are still in quarantine, lockdown, whatever, lockdown level 3. But anyway, it's still a new year, so we're trying to imbue, well, I'm at least trying to imbue this new phase with some renewed energy, trying to manifest some good vibes. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, child, like if we are just gonna not celebrate the fact that we made it to 2021, like we'll just be sad and depressed because 2020 was a mess. Okay guys, welcome again, as I said, to the Pretty Bookish channel. My name is Nogu Kanya. Welcome if this is your first time and you've never been here before. If you've been here around since the beginning, hi guys, welcome fam. Okay, so today I'm going to be shooting my first possibility pile of 2021. I'm not gonna lie to you. This possibility pile is probably going to be smaller than the rest of them because, to be honest with you, my brain is very frazzled. Like, I can't even think. Like, do you know when you're just, like, not really sure, like, how to put one foot in front of the other right now? Like, I don't know. I think there's something that happened at the beginning of the year. I'm really frazzled. Like, I think I'm just, like, trying to do too many things at once. I'm just so excited, you know, and I'm sure by like the 22nd of January all this energy will be finished and I will be done. But right now what's been happening with my reading so far is that I've just been picking things up off the shelf. It's like now what, the 6th of January. I don't know when I'll upload this and finish editing it, but right now it's the 6th. I don't know. So far, I've kind of read 3 books that I've actually really enjoyed that I've just been picking up. But I just thought, you know what, let me not be lazy. Let me actually shoot a possibility pile and show you guys the other books that I'm thinking of reading this month, what's actually like firmly on my radar so far, and what books I'm excited about reading. Some of them I will definitely read. I think I'm going to start, actually no, we're not going to start this year off with lies. I was about to say, I'm actually going to like try and stick to, no, we're not going to start this year off with lies. I'm just going to run you through the books that I'm actually like eyeing on my bookshelf and stuff that I'm interested in reading and that's like exciting me. That's kind of like calling me while I'm reading my other books and stuff that I'm really excited to read so far. Okay, so the first book, funny enough, is a really, really new one. And I was actually thinking, should I read my new books? But then I thought, you know what? My new energy for 2021 is to not care whether a book has been on my shelf for 6 months or for 6 days. I am going to read what excites me. Although that's probably going to be a problem for my backlist, but do you know what? It's fine. We'll figure it out. So the first book is The Fall of Dark by Caleb Rurig. It's basically like, think Twilight, Vampire Diaries, but the queer version. That's my understanding of this book. I'm excited about it. I think it's one of those books that I'm going to read before I go back to work while I'm still on leave because it's just so fun. And I'm just like, I'm in this groove now where I think I'm reading a lot of fantasy books and I'm reading a lot of stuff that's just like fantastical and fun. And I want romance, I want love, I want banter. I don't want anything that's going to stress me out. Like, cool child, it's too early in the year. So The Fall of Dark by Caleb Rurig. Kai, who I follow on Instagram, who everybody should be following, actually read this book and he really, really said he enjoyed it. So I'm excited to read this. Plus, you know what? I just feel like I'm going to start reading queer romance and queer stuff throughout the year. Last year, I actually waited until like Pride Month to start reading queer books last year. And then I did it for the rest of the year. But this year, we're not doing that. I'm reading all my queer romance, all my YA. Then hopefully by Pride Month, I'll be able to give you guys recs on recs on recs on recs because I would have been reading the whole month or the whole year rather. So The Fall of Dark by Caleb Rurig is the first book that I'm thinking of reading this year. The second one, also a queer read, is a book that I started, I got to page 4 last year, is Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendes. Okay, so someone I follow on Instagram read this and she said she DNF'd it. And I was very stressed out because like I think we have similar tastes, so I'm a bit scared, but also a lot of people, other people love it. The cover is gorgeous. The subject matter sounds interesting. It's kind of like queer, it's a queer story, but also talking about sex work. So I'm interested to see how this kind of narrative unfolds. This one I want to read. This one I actually want to commit myself to reading because I did start it last year. But this one also, I'm waiting for a moment or a day where I have nothing else to do because this is not the kind of book I feel like I can jump in and out of like I'm doing some, like I do with some other books. I want to give this my attention because apparently Paul Mendes, oh, Dumi read this book as well. He said Paul Mendes's prose is like really beautiful and the book is like requires a bit of attention. So I'll see it's like, this aesthetic is so nice. I don't know why this book is looking so nice against these flowers, but anyway, this is one of the books that I'm thinking I'm definitely going to read. Just please ignore me if I say definitely. Pretend like I don't say it. It's like a Freudian slip, whatever you call that thing. I just say definitely all the time, even though it's probably not definitely, it's probably a lie. Okay, then the next book is The Trouble with Hating You by Sajni Patel. It's an enemies to lovers romance novel that I think features Indian characters, or it's basically like set in like an Indian family. This is one of the last romance books that I have on my shelf that I actually have in physical copy that I'm going to read. So for 2021, what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading a lot more romance on my Kindle and my ebook, because I think financially it's not working for me to read so many of these. Last year I had so many romances that went left, that were duds. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to start reading all these romances on ebook, and then if I'm obsessed with one and I really love it, then I will buy the physical book for my shelf. But this is one of the last ones that I actually picked up last year. Love the cover as well. So yeah, this is another one that I've also heard great things about. So this is another one that I'm thinking of reading this month. The other one, I thought I was going to get to it in December, but I didn't, is Nevernight by J. Christoph. This one, guys, someone needs to hold me accountable on Instagram that I make sure that I read this. This is one of the last book ones of series that I'm interested in reading that I still haven't read. And I really wanted to read this so I can see if this is a series I want to continue with, so I can order the rest of the books. And everybody that I know loves this. All my favorite bookstagrammers love this book. So I'm trying to see if it's like, if it's worth the hype, basically. Do you know what I mean? So this is one of the ones that I keep saying, I say this for everything. Oh my God, I'm the worst. I keep saying this for everything. I'm going to prioritize this. But this one, someone needs to hold me accountable, because actually I want to read this because I actually just need to know if it's worth the hype. I don't like the number of things that are sitting on my shelf, and I'm not sure if I'm going to love it, or not sure if it's worth even being in my like headspace, because there's a lot of things that are sitting in my headspace that I'm not sure need to be there. Okay, then the other book is The Beautiful by Renee Adi. I love Renee Adi. I told you guys the whole story about how I managed to find this in paperback. I went to the shop now and everybody has it in paperback. It's everywhere, and I'm just like, oh my God, you guys made me wait so long. I am 85% sure that I'm going to love this book. I think it's vampires. First of all, I love Renee Adi's writing style. It's vampires, it's New Orleans, it's romance. Apparently it's quite steamy. I'm excited. I love everything about New Orleans, and I also love everything about vampires. I'm a vampires, werewolves, fae kind of girl. Vampires is like my OG. Like, I actually need to do it. Actually, I should show you guys, like, unbox like some of my books that are in storage, some of my old school YA fantasy that's in storage, but almost all of it is like vampire themed. I don't know why though. But anyway, I was a weird kid. So this one is also one of the ones that I'm thinking of reading this month. Really like the cover. And there's a book too. I think the thing is, Renee Adi, based off of her other two series that I have, tends to write duologies. She doesn't write trilogies or doesn't write quartets or whatever. So I think there's another book called The Damned, which is the second book of this one. I don't know if it's the last one, but it might be. So hopefully if I enjoy this one, I'll be able to pick up The Damned. But I also have to wait for it to come in paperback, because you know my whole thing with book covers not making sense on the shelf. So I actually might have to wait for a couple of months to read The Damned. So we'll see. The other book also that everybody loved, that I'm excited about, is Illuminae by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman. This one I'm interested because I said before that the format of this book is really, really exciting. It's really, really weird. The thing is, this book is sci-fi, and I'm not typically a sci-fi person, but I think it's one of the genres that I want to give a little bit more of a chance in 2021. The other book that I wanted to pick up was Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So I'm still on the fence about whether to pick that up, because honestly, guys, science fiction makes my brain hurt. So I'm not 100% on board, but I do think it's one of the genres that I need to give a chance, because actually I think I just discounted it because obviously I hate science, and it's like all science and biology, and it's like, machines, I don't care. But I actually think I need to give them a chance, because I think some of them, a lot of people say some of them are really, 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 really good, and that I will enjoy them. And sometimes I just have to take a leap and trust other people's opinions and trust people to guide me to books that I'm probably going to love. So Illuminae by J. Christoph is probably the first one that I'm going to read in the science fiction genre, especially like YA science fiction, and we'll see how that goes. The other book is Black Sunday by Tola Rotimi Abraham. Disclaimer, I think I'm on page 4 or something of this book. I actually started it like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I put it on the side because, you know, before I was like recording this, I was watching an episode of Bridgerton. I'm about to dive back in after I finish recording this, but this book, excited about it. African lit, this is another genre, is African literature. I fell off a bit last year. I dropped the ball. There's a lot of books that came out last year that were written by Black African writers, particularly female writers, that I didn't get a chance to read. I didn't know this was a debut novel, but it is. Books and Rhymes, Sarah, who runs Books and Rhymes, said this book was so good, and I trust her opinion so much. And there's a lot of people on African Bookstagram who really enjoyed this book by Tola Ratimi, so I'm excited about this one as well. This one I'm gonna finish by the end of the week. It's like 230 pages only. It's super short, but this cover is really good. This is the better cover. We have the better cover for once. The one that they got in the US, I think, is just I mean, it's not that bad now that I'm thinking about it, because it's like a graphic, but this one is definitely better. So Black Sunday, excited about that. The other book that I actually am like halfway through, so I'll just add it, is Just Like You by Nick Hornby. Guys, I don't know why I bought this book. Don't get me wrong, I'm actually enjoying it so far, but I was just thinking to myself, how did I end up picking a book written by a white man? Because to be fair, I don't typically buy books written by white men, especially not contemporary or literary fiction. Like, usually it's like either fantasy or YA that's written by white men that I buy. Particularly, I think Nick Hornby's a straight white man, but I don't know what it was. I think I was in the store with my uncle and he was just like, get whatever you want. And then the cover, which is beautiful, like appealed to me. And then I read the synopsis, and it's about this like 42-year-old woman who gets into a relationship with like a 22-year-old black man, a black youth in like Britain. It's like, I think it's like in London or whatever, and it's not your typical, it's not like a Lolita pedophilia weird thing. It's like basically like how do you kind of navigate a relationship where everybody expects you guys not to make sense, and do you make sense, and can you actually have this relationship that works or whatever when you're at two different points in your life. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm halfway through, so this one I'll also be finished by the end of the week, so I'll give you guys an update when I do my wrap up, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably get a sooner kind of review, because I do my Instagram reviews more frequently. Okay, and then the other one I also already started. I thought I was going to be able to finish A Men Who Hate Women last year by Laura Bates, but I haven't. So this is my nonfiction priority for this month. I really want to finish this book. It's so interesting, but also straight men are mad. Like, they are mad. Like, also straight white men are also mad. Like, this book is just like, it's mind-blowing how incredible. Like, I finished the chapter on incels, on pickup artists, and on men who avoid women, and it's just like, oh child, y'all need, like, everybody in this book needs therapy. It's like, it's a whole, I'm just like, no. So that's my nonfiction priority. Then the other book that I actually want to read this month is Luster by Raven Leilani, that I got sent by Pan Macmillan. I am very excited to read this book. Everybody loved it. A couple of people didn't like it, but mostly everybody loved it. And I'm interested to read about a messy black girl. I just want to see what's happening with Evie, because everybody said Edie is like doing the most. And like, every time someone was like live on Instagram or like talking about why they were reading this book, everybody was just like, girl, baby, what is you doing? And I love these kinds of books. I think it's similar to Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams. So that one is another one that I'm excited to read. And the other one that I'm excited to read is The House of the Cerulean Sea. I am very excited about this. This is one of those books that I'm almost scared to read, because everybody loved it and everybody says I'm going to absolutely love it, and so it's making me scared to read it, because I'm just like, what if I don't like it? But also, what if I love it so much that my heart can't handle that there's only one book and that it's finished? Like, it's like, you know, I held off on reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller for the longest time, and then I finally read it and I was just like, this is why I didn't want to read this book, because it made me cry, my heart, just everything. So this book is giving me the same vibe, but because actually I have read Wolf Song by TJ Klune, and TJ Klune's writing, honestly, I really like it. I really enjoy it. Makes me cry though. Like, he really just like, he makes me emote. And like, guys, I'm a reptile. Like, I'm a cold bitch. So when like something actually makes me cry, you know that writer is like got skills. So yeah. So The House of the Cerulean Sea, I don't know. We'll see. You might see this in like in like my possibility piles for the next couple of months until I work up the courage to read it, but I might end up just reading it next week. We don't know. We never know. This is another one I'm excited about. I also want to read The Prophet by Robert Jones Jr. that I got sent by Jonathan Ball. I'm so excited about this book, guys. When this arrived, you can ask anyone on Instagram. I was like screaming like a crazy person. I was so excited when this book arrived. So this book by Robert Jones Jr. is a slave narrative, but it's a queer slave narrative. So I'm so excited to see. It's about two boys, loves of each other's lives on a plantation, and they've been in this relationship and they are each other's salvation. And then what happens when people's perceptions change and people trying to kind of change, or I think it's basically infusing Christian religion into the plantation lifestyle and how that changes people's attitude and how do these boys navigate. And I think there's a huge trauma and I think there's tragedy. I hope this ends with some sort of love resolution because guys, I am so tired, but also my heart is so done with reading queer narratives where there's this beautiful love story and then somebody dies. So I'm hoping this doesn't happen, but I'm not holding out hope because everybody who read this book on Instagram, people were like crying. People were just like, my heart is broken. So I actually just don't know. So The Prophets. And then the last thing that I actually want to get through this month as well is my graphic novels, Fence 1 and Fence 2, Volume 1 and 2. I've read Volume 1. Volume 2 and 3. I actually want to order a couple of graphic novels. I got recommendations last time, but if you have any others, I think I got Check Please and something about lions. Those were the two queer graphic novels that I got recommended. So if you have any other ones, definitely drop me a comment below. I want to order a bunch of queer graphic novels soon because Heartstopper Volume 4 only comes out in May, child, and like that is a very long time away. By the way, my birthday's in May, so if somebody wants to send me that book, you definitely can. Okay, so these are probably the last two that I'm thinking of reading. As you can see, based off of my other possibility piles, this one is very light. But it's because I'm just letting things settle for the year and trying to see where my brain is at. But also there's a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, because there's stuff that I'm listening to on Libro that I got advanced listeners copies to that I'm also reading. And I'm also finding audiobooks to be really my vibe so far in this year, in this month. So by the time I do my wrap up, you'll probably find there are quite a few audiobooks. So I'm making room for that and not trying to overwhelm myself. But all of these are the ones that I'm the most excited to read. All of them are like books that I have been recommended and books that I'm excited about, and I hope you guys are excited about too. So hopefully I'll read as many of these as I can and get a wrap up to you guys in a timely fashion. Guys, the word for the Pretty Bookish channel this year is things in a timely fashion and consistency. I'm trying to my best to make sure you guys get a lot more videos because I've gotten requests to do a lot more videos because you guys say that I'm only ever giving you possibility piles and wrap-ups and not giving you videos in between. So I'm going to try my best to shoot those kind of videos for you guys. Again, drop in the comments below any recommendations, any book requests or video requests that you specifically want to see. I am more than open to shooting specific videos if people want, like if you have a specific topic you want recommendations on, or kind of book you want recommendations on, drop me a comment, and if I have enough books and if I can do a full video on it, I definitely will. Otherwise, I'll just respond to you and give you some recommendations in the comments. Right, so thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram on @PrettyXBookish. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to. I don't know why you would. I have a Twitter, I just don't ever use it. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, that's it. Bye.